In this video, we'll cover section 8.3, the individual exercise for creating ramp 4 cross sections from the chapter 8 road 1 manual. Okay, first instructions are we need to create a brand new file, and we're going to name that XS underscore ramp 4 J5P3181. So I'm going to copy that information, and then I'm going to go over to MicroStation. We just finished up the previous section, so I'm going to go to File, New. I'm going to verify my seed file, make sure it is a 2D, mo.design C2D. It is. It's going to ask me if I want to open it read only. I do. I'm going to paste in that file name that I wanted. So XS underscore ramp 4 J5P3181. Everything's good. I'll go ahead and hit the OK button, and it will take a little bit of time to check in the previous file and open the new created file. And eventually the dialog will pop up for us to check it in. There it is. We'll check in the previous file. Should open us up into that blank brand new XS Route 54. So we're good. Or, not Route 54, XS Ramp 4. We'll go down to back to my manual. Okay, and we're going to attach the coordinate system by using File. Done this in previous chapters, so we're going to go ahead and add that NAD 83 Missouri State Plains Central Zone. So to do that, again, we go back into MicroStation, change our workflow to reality modeling, go to the coordinate system icon, select it. We're going to choose this from File option within the dialog. As you can see, there's no system attached yet. And then we're going to make sure we're in our data folder that we're working in, but we also want to make sure that we pick one that does have coordinates already selected to it. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my corridors ramp 4 and then hit open. And I'll just pick the default one. You can see it's in both of them, so we're okay. And then now we can see that our coordinate system is lined up with the NAD 83 Missouri State Plains Central Zone. We're good. We'll go ahead and close that out. Go back to the manual. Okay, so we've done that first step. First two steps. Numbering looks like it needs to be fixed. I'll do that right now, maybe. This should be 3. So in our third step, and I will save that. So in our third step, it says referencing the following files. This has not been updated. We're just going to reference in our corridors ramp 4. So let's do that. And we're going to say referencing the following file using nested depth of 1. Okay. And I think I'll take off turn that off. Maybe give it a dot. All right, there we go. So we're going to reference in that file, give it a 1. The reason we're doing this, we can get away with this in the cross-section files because they're more of retainer files nowadays than what the previous files were. So we're going to go back. We could do it in this file, workflow, but I'm going to just go ahead and go back to Open Roads Modeling and choose my home terrain or home tab and look for my reference file. And I am going to do a Tools Attach, and I am looking for my corridors ramp 4 add that in, hit the OK button. It will belong to the work set soon, so we'll hit OK on that. And we're going to change this nested depth to 1 so that everything that goes along with this ramp 4 corridors comes into this file. So we'll get our terrain, our civil geometry, even the Route 54 if it's been used as a clipping or reference or anything like that. So hit OK. We'll do a fit view, and you can see projects in the background. I think I've mentioned in previous videos that I've done that I like this tree because now I can open up and see what files have been brought in. Okay, so I'll go ahead and close that out. Done with the attaching that. I need to activate the terrain and then zoom into the ramp 4. So we'll go back over here. We'll find our terrain. We'll select it, hover over it, make it active. And it's important to have the terrain active or else you won't see your existing ground and your cross sections. So I'm going to zoom in here to ramp 4 area, and this is where it's at, ramp 4. I always like to see in the 2D the actual 3D. I like to see that myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and open up and see if I can find that corridors ramp 4 default. Oh, maybe I can't do that. Okay, so get back to this. We'll go back to the manual. Now we're going to create the name boundary, and we're going to enable both 2D and 3D with the F6 key, and that's basically the way you get to have that dialog pop up. So I'm going to bring this back a little bit, my MicroStation, so I can easily get to my Word document. So I'm going to come into a blank area, my element selection tool. I'm going to go ahead and hit the F6 key. This will give us the 2D of the ramp, and we've also got the 3D of the ramp. So we're good on that. Next thing we want to do is from the Open Roads Modeling Workflow, we're going to select Drawing Production tab, and then select the Name Boundary tool. And then select the Place Name Boundary Civil Cross Sections. That's a lot. So let's do steps 8 first. We're gonna go, that's good. Our tabs, Drawing Production, and then our pull down will be Place Name Boundary. There's a button up here. We can hit that. It's if you hover over it, you'll see that it's Name Boundary. So we're going to select that. Step 9, I believe. Yes, it is. Step 9 says select the Place Name Boundary Civil Cross Section icon. And we used it last, so it's the last one here. So we're going to pick it. It's already there. And then we're going to choose, let's get that down a little bit. We're going to choose the drawing seed from the drop-down menu. So we want the D size sheet 5 scale. So come over here, we'll hit the first drawing seed pull down, and then we're going to do a 5 scale sheet. You can see it changed our detail scale to 1 to 5. Next thing we want to do is identify the path, and we want it for that ramp. So if you read the bottom left, it's telling us to identify the path. All we want to do is come out here to ramp 4, and if you hover over the complex element, it'll tell you that this is ramp 4, and this is what we want to use. So we'll go ahead and select it. Okay, so we've got it. We're going to use a stationing of 0 as a start station and 5 as a stop. So what I like to do is come out to my start station, select in a field, and then hit this button on the right, and that'll lock it to that 0. So we're locked in. Now it wants to know to stop. So I'll come in here, and I'll type in 5 plus 0, 0, and I'll hit the enter key. Now there's no station equation on this ramp, so we can use just 0 plus 0, 0, 5 plus 0, 0. No regions are needed. So we'll hit the enter key, move my mouse out, and you can kind of see what's happening here. We've got our shapes starting to show up. This says we want to use a left offset of -40 and a right offset of 100 for this exercise. You can see when we look at this 3D model, our ramp 4 comes right along that wall. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit to the left of that, and that's all we really care to see, and then we'll see more of the right. So again, we're going to use a -40 and a 100. So our left side, we'll go -40, and then our right side, we're going to put in 100. And this comes into play where we had 70 and 70, so the whole shape will fit 140 feet in there. So we want to use those units like that. 40 and 100, it's 140 total. Okay, let's see what else it says. We will use interval of 50, which we have. And then we'll do a, let's see what it says. Create drawing. When enabled, the process to create cross-section sheets is automatically started after the name boundaries are created. When disabled, the name boundaries are created, but the sheets are not created. Okay, so what this is saying is that it's going to create a managed group called whatever this is, which is ramp 4 for this. So you'll have a managed group, but it won't actually go out and create cross sections. So what will have to happen is later on you'd have to use the manager to actually go out and create them. And this option will show dialog. Allows you to go out and change the annotation that you're placing. I kind of like to use it, so we're at that part. So once we get it filled out like this, exactly like this, we'll go ahead and left click, and I believe I've got that. 5 scale, rank 4 is the name, stations are good, offsets look good, our interval looks good, so we're all good. Now all we need to do is go out into a blank area. Now when I come out, the first one's just accepting the cross section placement, and then the second one will go out and place the shapes. Okay, you can see over in the other 3D window the shapes are being placed as well. Since I had the show dialog, it opened up this create dialog. Okay, and that's what it's saying here. Open model opens up the next one. And before we do anything else, we'll go to edit this, and we're going to go ahead and give it an annotation group. We're going to call this one, for this operation, we'll just do without grid. We haven't ran that one yet, so we'll do cross-section annotation without grid. Okay, and then once you're finished, you hit the OK button, and it's going to process. So in the background, you can barely see that bar down there. It's creating all the different cross-section sheets and then all the drawing models. Okay, so what it does is opens up the last one because we had it checked on, and you can see what's going on here. We've got our ramp 4 all out here. It's all annotated. You got your slopes are annotated, and we don't have the grid. I placed it without grid, so it came in without the grid. You also notice, and this is something that we've requested from Bentley as well, is that it looks like Route 54 corridor is being labeled as well, annotated as well. Now the thing about that is it's actually being created off the baseline here, so it's all still these annotations deal with this baseline and not Route 54. Okay. That brought us to the last sheet. We want to go back to the multi-model view. So to do that, there's a couple different ways. I just like using this pull down on the bottom left. And you can see it happens to be right here, the multi-model view, which means I'm going to get the 2D and the 3D view when I select it. So select it, go back to this view. Let's see, changing the fill slope. The object, this part of the exercise, to change the fill slope on the 2 template drops within ramp 4 corridor located. So what we want to do is change the fill slope. Okay. Let's look at what we've got here. You can see out here on the end we've got some issues going on where it's coming outside. It's actually being outside of our cross sections, and we want to bring them in. we want to bring that slope in. Okay, that's what the whole issue about this is. So we want to open up the corridors for ramp 4. So let's go do that. Oh, one more note before I move on is you can see that these are not see-through or transparent. So what you could do is go to the view of that window and turn on transparency, and you'll notice that they're there. Now, again, if you don't see them, your constructions are off. Same with the 2D view. If you don't see those shapes, your constructions are off. Okay, so let's go to that corridors for ramp 4. And it's right here. We'll open that one up. We will save this file. When ProjectWise asks us, we will check it in. Now, we could have used a larger scale on this and brought it, you know, so we could see the whole fill slope. What we're just trying to do here is just show you that you can adjust things, go from one file to the other and modify stuff and edit. So that's the whole purpose of this part. Okay, looks like we're there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have 2 template drops for ramp 4. You can see one before, one after. One has curb and gutter, and one has shoulders to it. So we just want to go in, and we're going to go to the right fill slope 1B for both of those and change that value from 25% to minus 33.333%. So we'll go back over to MicroStation. We'll select that first template drop. Get our heads-up display. Click on Open Template Drop. And we're looking for that fill slope. And that fill slope, right fill slope 1B. Right fill slope 1B. So if we zoom in, we can see that right fill slope 1B is right here. We'll double click to open up the point properties. And in here we want to change that slope. And we want to go again from 25% to minus 33.333. So I'm just going to come in here and change it. Hit the enter key. That applies it. Then I'll close it. You can see that slope has changed. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to do the same for the next one after it gets done processing. And you can see that slope is kicked in quite a bit. So come out to this one. Second template drop. Get our heads-up display. Open our template drop. Again, we're going to look for that fill slope, and here it is way down here. That's not the right one. Here it is, fill slope 1B. So we're going to double click on that one. Again, we're going to change that slope, but we're going to go with the positive or the negative. And hit the enter key again. Apply. Close. And we'll hit OK. Something tells me that's not the right. I brought it in, but not enough. Somebody. Huh. Okay. So it brought it in, and we'll just keep following the exercise. So once we've done that, we've applied the change, we've closed the point property, we've closed the edit template box, everything's updated. So we did, we need to do both, it looks like. So this has changed. Select ramp 4 shoulders, template. We're going to open up properties again. Let's do that. And it looks like we're going to change both of them to that 33. So let's change this other mid one too. something was looking really strange to me. I think somebody's changed something here, but we're going to fix it. So in here, we'll just change that again. We'll match the other. Lock it in. We already applied it. We'll close it. We'll hit OK. Should bring it in even more a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, so once we've done that, we'll close out of the box. We're going to open up a ramp. So we're going to open up our cross sections of the ramp, saving our corridors file. So we'll go back to that. Do the browse. We'll access ramp 4. And we'll open that up. And again, it takes a few minutes for it to get to that check-in box. And here comes ProjectWise eventually. Check in our corridors that we updated. Okay, now you can see that now we've changed that slope and we fit within our cross sections. You can see that here and over here, 2D and 3D. Okay, it says now that we've opened this, we're going to open up 3+50 drawing model. So let's do that. So to do that again, I like to use this view commands down here, and these you can peel them off. These manage view groups. You can do whatever you want with them. I like them where they're at. There's some functionality. You can go back and forth in files using that. I'm going to go right here and I'm going to change it to 3+00 in the drawing model. I believe that's what it was, 3+00 or 3+50. Okay, so let's go to 3+50. Select it. It's populated out here. You can see we do have one bug still, and that deals with these hanging elevation offset labels. So this label actually is part of Route 54. There's a point that comes out here, but it's not honoring the clipping that went on. So there's some clipping that goes on right here. It's supposed to keep Route 54 on its own side. You can see that that one point happens to show up. We have a bug out to Bentley on that as well. So hopefully it'll be fixed by the time we get this out. But it's also all telling us that there's no slope labels. So if I look at it, zoom in a little bit, you don't see any slope labels. So we got to fix that. Again, we're going to remove the model annotation just like we did in the previous exercise. So we're going to come up, we're going to go to our model annotation tool, go down and pick remove model annotations. I believe we're going to do them all. Yes, we'll do them all, just like step 34. So we will hit the up-down arrows on our keyboard or toggle the switch on, and left click in a blank area, and you can see all the models have, well, you can see in this one, but if I go to 3, it's missing as well. So all the labels have been removed. So you can do it in any model. Okay. Now we're gonna reapply annotations to the drawing model. Okay. So we'll do that. So we'll come out, and that's what that was saying. We did the remove. Now we're doing the annotate. So we'll go back to that model annotation. We'll pick from the pull down, we'll pick the annotate model. We want to do yes on this again. We'll go ahead and accept that. But then we're going to pick the annotation group we want, and it defaulted to that because that's what we placed them out the first time. So we'll pick without grid, left click in a blank area, and we'll let it run. And it's going to go out to all the models out there and annotate them, all the drawing models. And there you go. You see we've now got labels on our slopes, elevation offset labels at the end of our slopes. And again, this is a mistake that hopefully it'll get fixed. Go to here, we did the step 37. Step 38 basically tells you to do exactly what we did. We're going to go out and look at that slope and elevation offset label. And that is the end of this exercise.